Welcome back to Each One Reach One, everybody. I appreciate you guys joining me today for part 15 of our lesson, Christianity versus the Bible. Let us give all praise, honor, and glory to our heavenly power, the Holy One of Israel, our Father Yahweh, and to his glorious Son, our Master and Redeemer Yahweh Shai. All praises due. Grace, peace, blessings, and salutations to the elect of Israel. I love you guys, family. Thanks for joining me. All you visitors, everybody else, thank you for joining us as well. Hopefully you learned something today. I pray that you guys are all edified and that you guys are all increased in knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. May our power, the one true living power, the Holy One of Israel, the Hebrew God with the Hebrew name, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, water the seeds I plant today and provide the increase for you all, because that is the only way you're going to get this understanding. He has to unlock your understanding. Otherwise, you will remain dumb to what's evident to everybody else that had the veil removed. So I do this in the spirit of understanding that it's not for everybody. Some people, it's their destiny, or their curse, I should say, to remain in the dark. So if you don't get it, you will get it. When I say you will get it, I ain't talking about this understanding, if you know what I mean. All right? Just wait for that great and terrible day of the Lord that you Christians say you want so bad. Be careful what you ask for. All right? So we're going to begin today's lesson, Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 1. Let's dig into the scriptures, everybody. Hear ye the word which Yahweh speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Okay, so we know who's speaking, our Father Yahweh. Who's he speaking to? The house of Israel, the bloodline, right? The seed, the offspring. Got it. All right, good. Via Jeremiah, the Israelite prophet. All right, so there's no mistaking. The subject matter, who's talking, who the mediator is of the information, and who the recipients are. Okay, so everybody can include themselves in this, even though there are parts in here that discuss you Gentiles by blood, discuss you heathens. This book is not for you. There is a difference. All right, let's continue on. Verse 2. Thus saith Yahweh, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. Again, if, because he is the God of all creation, and everyone are his children, and he loves the entire world, as you guys call it, entire earth, to be more specific, why would he continuously make a difference between Israel, the Israelites, and non-Israelites? Why does he refer to the heathen as the heathen? Is that a term of endearment, or is that a derogatory name? We know that's a derogatory name for anyone that is not an Israelite. So if you are not an Israelite, he calls you by a derogatory name, and he doesn't speak to you. He always speaks to the Israelites. He doesn't care for you at all. All right. He tells his children, don't go their way. Don't do what they do. Don't cling to them. Don't talk to them. Don't join hand in hand with them. This is what he told them back then. Right. Again, this was not for this time until the awakening. See, because we would all wake up in this time not having any idea of who we were, who our power was, and so forth. So he made us to join hand in hand with the other nations, with the heathens. He did that. That was part of our curse, for us to go and spread ourselves in the nations and to join ourselves unto them, because that's what we wanted to do in the ancient world. So he made us to do it in this time. You know what I mean? He gave some of us, heathens and Gentiles by blood, to be curses unto us, and he gave some of us, heathens and Gentiles, to be a blessing unto us. The same way he's going to give them to us as an inheritance later on. He gave some of us, heathens and Gentiles, in our lives in this go round in order to make our lives easier. See, because they would have the power, they would have most of the stuff. And so depending on whether you woke up to everlasting shame and contempt or to everlasting life, that would determine your interaction with the heathens and Gentiles in this life. If he loved you and wanted to show you a semblance of mercy and favor, he would put heathens and Gentiles in your life in this time to be a blessing unto you, to make your go this time a little easier than your brethren, because he's taking it easier on you. You're not getting hit with that rod. You're not getting chastened as tough as your brothers might be. So you're going to have people in this truth who are going to feel differently, you know, about these heathens and Gentiles. Or you're going to have, well, before the truth, now, you know, everybody now with the truth being spread throughout, you know, all of us the way it has been, and us being awakened that we the way we have been, we all are pretty much on the same accord as it pertains to them. You know what I mean? So, you know, that is what it is. And those people who he did that for, and some of them are going to be those Gentiles that will get to cling to the house of Israel. Some of them will be destroyed. Some of them will be given to us as an inheritance. This is the will of the Most High being done. All right. Remember, we know not our own way. All right. So continuing on. All right. Let's start back from the top of verse 2. Thus saith Yahweh, learn not the way of the heathen. Don't learn their ways. I hate them. I don't want you copying after them. I don't want you doing shit that they do. He doesn't love you. And be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, the stars, the moons, the sun, and the eclipses, and, you know, all of the different, you know, the meteor showers, all of those different things that happen in the sky that we see all the time, that they put our attention on. You know, it's just supposed to be something nice to look at, but these are signs from him. He's telling us, don't be dismayed at the signs. For the heathen are dismayed at them, because in their spirits, they know that these signs mean something, and it terrifies them. For the customs of the people are vain. Listen, the customs of the people are vain. For one cutteth the tree out of the forest. What does it sound like? The work of the hands of the workmen with the axe. A custom where people cut down trees. What could this mean? What could this refer to? Where could he be going with this? Again, from the top, for the customs of the people are vain. For one cutteth the tree out of the forest. The work of the hands of the workmen with the axe. They deck it with silver and with gold. They deck it with silver and with gold. So they cut down trees, and then they deck out the tree with silver and gold trimmings. I wonder where I've heard this custom before. They fasten it with nails and with hammers that it move not. They fasten a tree down. They cut it out of the forest. They put it up in their homes. They fasten it down so that it can't move. They deck it out with ornaments and of silver and gold. This sounds very familiar. I just can't quite put my finger on it where I've heard this before. What custom is this? If anybody can think of what custom this is, you know, props to you, because I just can't seem to put my finger on it. This is why they keep you out of the Old Testament. Y'all know what the fuck this is. You know this is fucking Christmas, you fucking heathens. Listen what he says about it. They are upright as the palm tree, but speak not. They must needs be born, because they cannot go. Be not afraid of them, for they cannot do evil, neither also is it in them to do good. For as much as there is none like unto thee, O Yahweh, thou art great, and thy name is great in might. Who would not fear thee, O King of nations? For to thee doth that I pertain. For as much as among all the wise men of the nations, and in all their kingdoms, there is none like unto thee. But they are altogether brutish and foolish. They who? The other nations, the other peoples. But they are altogether brutish and foolish. The stock is the doctrine of vanities. Listen, this is how you know it's talking about Christianity. This is how you know it's talking about Christianity, since the stock is a doctrine of vanities. Let's get the breakdown. Stock. What is a stock? The tree. Okay, so the tree in that custom that we just spoke of, which is fucking Christmas, you guys know this, the stock is a doctrine of vanities. What is a doctrine? A discipline. A discipline, such as Christianity, such as Buddhism, such as Old Testament only, such as the law of Moses, such as the royal law of liberty, right? These different belief systems are different doctrines. The belief and the custom of the tree, it is a doctrine of vanities. Vanities pertaining to things that are of naught, things that have no value, things that disappear, things that are temporary, things that are vapor, smoke, here today, gone tomorrow, having no real substance or value. That's what your custom of celebrating Christmas really is. And the Bible speaks against that custom. Once again, the Bible and Christianity are not in alignment. They don't agree. Verse 9, silver. This is why, again, that's why they don't go into the Old Testament inside your Christian churches. Because the doctrine that they give you is murdered by the Old Testament. It's also murdered by the correct understanding of the New Testament. That's why they don't really give you much study on that. They give you certain scripture out of the revised versions of the book that allow them to confound and confuse you and lead you off the mountain. Silver spread into plates is brought from Tarshish, and gold from Uphaz. The work of the workman and of the hands of the founder. Blue and purple is their clothing. They are all the work of cunning men. But the Yahweh is the true power. He is the living power and everlasting king. And his wrath, at his wrath, the earth shall tremble, and the nations shall not be able to abide his indignation. The nations shall not be able to abide his indignation. What is indignation? Anger or annoyance provoked by what is perceived as unfair treatment. Anger or annoyance provoked by what is perceived as unfair treatment. So if it's the Father's indignation, then he would be the one perceiving an unfair treatment. He's the one angered, annoyed, and provoked by what he perceives as an unfair treatment. We know that he cares about his people and only his people. So you know he's talking about the unfair treatment of the Israelites. What people in this world, in this time, are treated the most unfairly? Don't say Christians. It's the so-called Negro. And this is about the end time. His wrath is going to come in the end because of what's happening to his people. Now, we know those other people that are saved that are us, but are not and do lie. They're not being unfairly treated. The federal bankers and the national bankers and, the rulers of media and corporations and this industry and that industry, and have an entire military force and nukes and, a country and, all of it. They are not the recipients of the most unfair treatment by all the nations. His people, in the end, would be in the end time, and we are in the end time. You can all agree with that. His people would be the ones who are the victims of extremely unfair treatment, so that they would be the subject of his indignation in the end of days. Put it together. Verse 11. Thus shall ye say unto them, the gods that have not made the heavens and the earth, even they shall perish from the earth and from under these heavens. Because everyone's idols are going to disappear, because the Most High is going to make it manifest. He's going to prove to the world that he is the one and only true living power, and everybody's going to get rid of their idols, because he's going to make it abundantly clear that everybody have been in error, everybody except his chosen. He hath made the earth by his power. He hath established the world by his wisdom, and hath stretched out the heavens by his discretion. When he uttereth his voice, there is a multitude of waters in the heavens, and he causeth the vapors to ascend from the ends of the earth. He maketh lightnings with rain, and bringeth forth the wind out of his treasures. Every man is brutish in his knowledge. Every founder is confounded by the graven image, for his molten image is falsehood, and there is no breath in them. Every man is brutish in his knowledge. Every founder is confounded by the graven image, for his molten image is falsehood, and there is no breath in him. They're Jesus. That's a graven image. That is indeed a graven image. It is a falsehood. There is no breath in him. They are vanity and the work of errors. In the time of their visitation, they shall perish. In the time of their visitation, they shall perish. They who? The people who worship these graven images, molten images, the people who created them, the people who worship them. In the time of their visitation. What is their visitation? What does it say here? Visitation. Punishment. Punishment. The time of your punishment is on the horizon. They are vanity and the work of errors. In the time of their visitation, they shall perish. 10:16. The portion of Jacob is not like them. Like them who? The people who worship these vanities. These people who will be punished in the time of their visitation. The portion of Jacob is not like them, meaning, what does the portion mean? A share, a part, a territory. One's portion, one's possession. Portion, award from God. That's the one. That's the one. Award from the Most High. Award from the Most High. The award, Jacob's reward, award from the Most High is not like them. Them who? Those people who worship the false, the graven image, the molten image. The award for Jacob is not like them, for he is the former of all things. What does he refer to? Is it for Jacob? No, it refers to the award of Jacob. Jacob has an award that is not like the other people who worship the false gods. And it's a he, it's a person. And Israel is a rod of his inheritance. His who? The award. The award is a person, and his inheritance is Israel. Israel is the rod of his inheritance. Rod. What does the rod mean of his inheritance? Mark of authority. Shepherd's implement. A mark of authority. Mark of authority. So let's continue to translate this. The portion of Jacob, the Most High Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai, is not like the heathens whose award is Jesus and Buddha and Allah and the Prophet Muhammad. No, their award is not like them. See, because their award is vanity It's vanity, the work of errors. Our reward is the one true living power. For he, our true power, is the former of all things. And Israel, not Christians, Israel is the rod of his inheritance, the symbol of his authority, his inheritance. The Lord of hosts, Yahweh of hosts is his name. Just to confirm that this is talking about the Almighty Yahweh. Okay? That is the context. That is the breakdown. I've heard people break this down before and they didn't break this down correctly. That is the proper breakdown of Jeremiah 10 and 16. Okay? The portion of Jacob, their award, their power is not like the other nations' award. Their award is vanity. They have no award for their belief. There is no award for their belief because there is no God to reward them or award them anything. It's vanity. But the award of Jacob is the former of all things. Our power is the former of all things, meaning he came before all things. Israel, us, we are the rod of his inheritance. We are his scepter. We are his branch, his offspring, his offshoot. We are the symbol of his authority. Okay? Verse 20, my tabernacle is spoiled, and all my cords are broken. My children are gone forth of me, and they are not. There was none to stretch forth my tent anymore, and to set up my curtains. My tabernacle is spoiled. Something is spoiled. What does that mean? Let's give a tabernacle. What's a tabernacle? Tabernacle, a dwelling, a home, a habitation. My tabernacle is spoiled. The Most High is saying his dwelling, his home, his habitation is spoiled. Waste, destroyed, robbed, to deal violently with. His tabernacle has been dealt violently with, assaulted, devastated, violently destroyed. His home has been violently destroyed, robbed, wasted. My tabernacle is spoiled. His home, his habitation, right? Why do you keep saying this? Each one reach one? Because this is important for the Christians to understand. Because the Most High is referring to his tabernacle where he dwells. He said it's been robbed. It's been spoiled. It's been wasted. It's been devastated. The Christians think the Most High's home or dwelling is in the Christian church. This is what they believe. Let's get Acts chapter 7, verse 48. Howbeit the Most High dwelleth not in temples made with hands. I said the prophet. He dwelleth not in temples made with hands. He doesn't come into your fucking churches, Christian. He doesn't come there. King Solomon built him a mighty, a great house made of gold, and he didn't dwell there. You think he's dwelling in your rinky-dink ass fucking church? Stop the fucking madness. The Most High does not dwell in temples made with hands. Why is that key? Because it infers something. You got to always read what's not been said. If he doesn't dwell in temples made with hands, that means he does dwell in temples, just not the type that's made with hands. Right? What type of temple does he dwell in then? If not the type that's made with hands. Ponder that for a second. Acts chapter 17, verse 24. The Most High that made the world and all things therein, seeing that he is Lord of heaven and earth, dwelleth not in temples made with hands. He dwelleth not in temples made with hands. So he dwells in temples that are not made with hands. Right? The temples that he dwells in that is not made with hands are his men. He dwells within his people who were robbed and spoiled, devastated, wasted, dealt violently with. His people, the men of Israel, are his temples that he dwells in, not the Christian church. Not the Christian church. You guys are not the church of God. His church are his men. See, it's not the places where you gather. That is not the Lord's house. It's not where he dwells. He dwells within his men. Verse 25, neither is worship with man's hands, as though he needed anything, seeing he giveth to all life and breath into all things, and hath made of one blood all nations of men for to dwell on all the face of the earth, and have determined the times before appointed and the bounds of their habitation. Listen, he determined the times before appointed. Everything was written by him. He knew exactly everything that would play out and transpire. He chose his people, knew his people would fall and transgress. Then he would send a savior for his people, bring them back to him, and after a time, he will save his people from all of their oppression, lift them up, restore them to their original state, make them like unto him. He wants his children, because you are what your father is. He's God. His children are supposed to be God's as well. Restore his children to godhood, give them immortality once again, and cause them to rule over all the nations. That has always been his purpose. That's his movie. He wrote his script. He wrote his movie, and he didn't change the script for his people to be thrown away at the end, and then for there to be another group of people that he hated throughout all the movie. He hated these certain people throughout 3/4 of the movie, and then they get to the last quarter of the movie, and then all of a sudden he throws away his beloved people and then adopts, the people that he hated throughout 3/4 of the movie. That doesn't make any sense. Continuing on, verse 27, and they should seek the Lord, if haply they might feel after him and find him, though he be not far from every one of us. Not the Christians. You got to understand what's been said. You got to understand the context. Who's speaking? Paul, an Israelite man. Who's he speaking to? His Israelite brethren. That they should seek the Lord, if haply they might feel after him and find him, though he be not far from every one of us. Why is he not far from every one of us? Because he dwelleth in us. He dwell in his men. Because we are pieces of him. We are parts of him. That's why we will be made gods again. We are part of him. He has always planned to make us like unto him. For in him we live and move. In him we live. See, we are in him. We are one with him. We are part of him, and move and have our being, as certain also of your own poets have said, for we are also his offspring. We are also his offspring. Not everybody. We, who are the we? It's Paul the Israelite speaking about and to his Israelite brethren, saying we are also his offspring. For as much then as we, the Israelites, are the offspring of the Most High God, we ought not to think that the Godhead is like unto gold or silver or stone, graven by art and man's device. See, we know this. Christians, they still bow down to graven images. It's all in their churches. It's idol worship and blasphemy of the highest order. And the times of this ignorance, the Most High winked at. But now meaning in this time when he's speaking, but now commandeth all men everywhere to repent. Not right now while I'm speaking. No, no, no. Now, as in when Paul is speaking. At this time, he commanded all men everywhere to repent. Repentance is closed. It is not open for anybody to come and say, I take the Jesus Christ as my personal Lord and Savior, and now you get to be saved. No, you can't do that. You don't even get to say, call on the correct name and receive repentance right now. That's not how it works. Repent. The time of repentance is over. That door has been shut a long time ago. You either did repent or you didn't. And if you did, you have been awakened in this time to everlasting life. If you did not repent back then, you have been regenerated in this time to shame and everlasting contempt. That's why you can't understand. You denied him back then, so he denied you the ability to understand his word. Now, you can't come to him. He doesn't want you to. You have to get your punishment that you're due from back then. It's not over. He brought you back to punish you because he hath appointed a day in the which he will judge the world in righteousness. He hath appointed a day. It hasn't happened yet. It's coming. And for those of you who didn't repent back then, because you had to back then, that's why he says, command all men everywhere to repent. Now, he said, because he hath appointed a day, because there's a time coming, there's a day coming in which he will judge the world in righteousness. Why would that matter to the people of this time if the judgment was going to come a long time from then and they weren't going to be alive for it? Why was it important for them to repent back then and they weren't even going to be alive for this time period to come that's been spoken of? It doesn't make any sense. That's why you got to understand regeneration. If you don't understand regeneration as a fact, the rest of the book is going to make no sense to you. He hath appointed a day in which he will judge the world in righteousness, and you're going to be around. So you better repent now, because later he's going to judge the world in righteousness by that man who he ordained, that's Yahushua, whereof he hath given assurance unto all men of Israel, and that he hath raised him from the dead. Listen, and when they heard of the resurrection of the dead, some mocked, and others said, we will hear thee again on this matter. Why did they mock? Because they didn't believe in regeneration. They didn't think you lived again. They thought you had YOLO, you only live once. They thought that in their ignorance. They believed that. They didn't understand regeneration. So they were in ignorance. And so they denied him. They didn't take the repentance because they didn't understand what he was talking about. The same way you don't understand what I'm talking about right now, Christian. They didn't understand back then. So the judgment that they were promised, they're back to receive that judgment. And many of you were among those back then who didn't repent, who mocked, who didn't understand when you heard of this resurrection of the dead. We died and we were resurrected. We were brought back. And those of us that took the repentance when it was offered back then, we are the saved. We are the remnant. We are the redeemed of the Lord. You Christians have no hope of salvation. No hope of salvation. Verse 33, so Paul departed from among them. Howbeit, certain men clave unto him and believed. See? So when they say, because none of his people, they all rejected him and none of them believed, and so he got rid of all of them. No, some believe. This is what I'm talking. These are those who have been awakened in this time to this understanding. Everything that we're talking about, it makes sense. They get it because they repented back then. So he gave them the spirit of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding in this time. He removed the veil from the eyes of those who repented back then. And those who didn't repent back then, you're in the Christian church right now, worshiping Jesus, unable to come out. Unable to come out because he won't let you. He won't let you. You didn't come out back then. You didn't come to him then. He won't let you come to him now. He has a punishment meant for you. He has a day, appointed a day, in which he will judge the world in righteousness by that man whom he hath ordained, Yahushua, who you ignorantly call Jesus. Oh, he's going to deal with you. He's not coming for you. Well, he's coming for you, but he ain't coming to save you. Not unless save is another word for kill. You dig what I'm saying? Oh yeah, he coming to save y'all. Y'all good. He coming to save you when he show up. save you for wrath, save you for the bloodbath that he has in store to make an example of you to all the nations who won't bow down to him or to his children. Yeah, y'all should be afraid. Very, very fucking afraid. Right? Okay. So back to Jeremiah chapter 10, and we'll pick up from verse 20 again. My tabernacle is spoiled, my people, my house, my men of Israel, whom I dwell in, and all my cords are broken. Cords, things that help hold the tent together, tabernacle together. What helps keep the tabernacle together? It's priests, it's pastors, shepherds. They have been broken. My children are gone forth of me, and they are not. There is none to stretch forth my tent anymore, and to set up my curtains. For the pastors are become brutish, and have not sought the Lord, Yahweh. Therefore they shall not prosper, and all their flocks shall be scattered. Listen, for the pastors are become brutish, and have not sought the Lord Yahweh. Therefore they shall not prosper, and all their flocks shall be scattered. It's promise. Behold, the noise of the brute is come, and a great commotion out of the north country, to make the cities of Judah desolate, and a den of dragons. A den of dragons. Okay, if you go and Google, dragons on family crest, see what you find. See which people associate themselves and their families and their bloodlines with dragons. Go take a look. Just Google it. Go take a look. And that's how you follow the drip, so to speak. Follow the crumbs. See where they lead you. Follow the trail. Verse 23. Oh Yahweh, I know that the way of man is not in himself. What does that mean? Meaning we are not responsible for our own steps, for our journey. You think that you're just doing your own thing, and everything you're happening in your life is happening because it's your will. It's because you made all of these decisions. That's what you think. You don't understand that it's the Most High's movie. It's his script. It's just playing out. He wrote this to go this way. This is the reason why I don't condemn anybody for what they're doing. That is the Most High, for the journey that they're on. It is him. He appointed these things for them. I know that the way of man is not in himself. It is not in man that walketh to direct his steps. It is not in the man to direct his own steps. The Most High directs your steps. It's him. That's how how could he make sure everybody gets their judgment and so forth if he left everything up to, just our own will? No, his will has to be done. How does his will be done? Because he's in control. He controls your punishment. He controls your awards and rewards. He controls how you get chastised and judged. He does that. He uses people to get his work done. If he want you to have hell on you, he'll put the right spirits around you who will make sure he gets that outcome that he wants for you. If he wants you to have it easier time of it, he'll put the right people around you in your life to make sure he gets that done. That's how he works. That's how he works. So again, like I said, there are going to be brothers and sisters who, they're going to have certain heathens and Gentiles that are going to be allowed to cling to them because they have been a blessing to them. He who blesses Israel shall be blessed. There have been certain heathens and Gentiles that have been assigned to certain Israelites to be a blessing unto them in this life. That is how the Most High created a blessing for them. That's how he gave them an easier time of it in this time than others who he wanted to be in extreme poverty and who he wanted to always, just be in a low condition. He creates your hell. He creates your heaven. It's him. Oh, Yahweh, correct me, but with judgment, not in thine anger, lest thou bring me to nothing. Pour out thy fury upon the heathen that know thee not. See, because the heathen did not know the Father. Only Israel knew the Father. Only Israel. Pour out thy fury upon the heathen that know thee not, and upon the families that call not on thy name. Because there are many of Israelite families, people from certain Israelite bloodlines and Israelite households that do not call on the name of the power. They call on Jesus. That is not the name of the Son. They call on the name God, and that's not a name. That's not the name of the Father. They call on Jehovah. That is not the name of the Father. Right? Okay. For they who? The heathens and the 2/3 who are the families that call not upon the name of the Father, for they have eaten up Jacob, the elect. They. Well, in this instance, it also refers to the 2/3 of Israel, because the heathen have eaten, and their families have eaten up Jacob. You know what I'm saying? Because this is back in this time that he's speaking. Well, I'm sorry, he's seeing the future, because the Most High has given him, a vision of what's to come. So in his time, he's seeing what's to come, right? So he's speaking back then from a standpoint of having seen the end time. All right, there we go. I have to fix that. Okay, and so now that he's seen it, he's talking like, man, these people have eaten up Jacob, and have devoured him and consumed him and have made his habitation desolate. He's seeing it because it hadn't happened yet in his time. He was seeing a time to come. And these people, you heathens, I almost combined two words. I almost made a new word. Y'all about to say the Gentiles. Damn, the Gentiles. Oh, shit. Not the Gentiles. Each one reach one. Shit. You need some sleep. You start saying some shit like that. All right, we're going to keep it moving. But I'm pretty sure that you guys have gotten this. You know what I mean? For the elect, you guys have gotten this. And there's even some of you heathens and Gentiles that are listening to this right now. The Most High is allowing you to understand. This is the time where he's allowing you to understand what's to come. Okay? He's allowing you to understand what is to come for you. Right? So learn up, make adjustments. Jeremiah chapter 11, verse 1. The word that came to Jeremiah from Yahweh saying, hear ye the words of this covenant, and speak unto the men of Judah and unto the inhabitants of Jerusalem, because this is what the prophets do. This is what they did. They spoke on behalf of the Father to their brethren, not the earth, to their brethren. Who was his brethren? The men of Judah, and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem. So he's speaking to the southern and northern kingdoms, and say unto them, and say thou unto them, thus saith Yahweh, the power of Israel only, cursed be the man that obeyeth not the words of this covenant, because his covenant was with Israel, northern and southern kingdom. His covenant was with his people, not the entire earth. Okay? Which I commanded your fathers in the day that I brought them forth out of the land of Egypt. See, just to be specific, in case you didn't believe, man, see, he's talking, okay. Your fathers, this is not talking about everybody. He already said to Judah and Jerusalem, right? Then he's, it specifies the power of Israel, right? Then it specifies again, which I commanded your fathers, Judah and Jerusalem, in the day that I brought them forth out of the land of Egypt. He didn't bring everybody out of the land of Egypt. He brought the Israelites out from the iron furnace, saying, obey my voice and do them according to all which I command you. So shall ye be my people, and I will be your power, he says, that I may perform the oath which I have sworn unto your fathers. The Most High swore an oath unto the fathers of the children of Israel, to give them a land flowing with milk and honey, as it is this day. Then answered I and said, so be it, O Yahweh. Then Yahweh said unto me, proclaim all these words in the cities of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem only, saying, Hear ye the words of this covenant and do them. Hear ye the words of this covenant and do them. For I earnestly protested unto your fathers in the day that I brought them out of the land of Egypt, even unto this day, rising early and protesting, saying, obey my voice. Yet they obeyed not, nor inclined their ear, but walked every one in the imagination of their evil heart. Therefore, I will bring upon them all the words of this covenant, which I commanded them to do, but they did them not. And Yahweh said unto me, a conspiracy is found among the men of Judah and among the inhabitants of Jerusalem. They are turned back to the iniquities of their forefathers, which refused to hear my words, and they went after other gods to serve them. The house of Israel and the house of Judah, meaning the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom, have broken my covenant, which I made with their fathers. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh, behold, I will bring evil upon them, which they shall not be able to escape. And though they shall cry unto me, I will not hearken unto them. Then shall the cities of Judah and the inhabitants of Jerusalem go and cry unto the gods unto whom they offer incense, but they shall not save them at all in the time of their trouble. This is why you can't, why you 2/3 of Israel, you so-called Negroes in the Christian church, this is why you've never been able to be saved. This is the reason why you've always constantly received crushing after crushing after crushing circumstance at the hands of these so-called Jesus-loving Christians. These good old Jesus-loving Christians have been persecuting you since 1619 and before, to be honest, before then. They've been persecuting you before then, right? Go all the way back to the 1400s. You've been getting persecuted by these Jesus lovers, right? By these so-called Christians. See, now it's your judgment to be forced to have to go cry unto the gods unto whom they offer incense. You have to go cry unto the other gods whom you wanted to cling to. He said, keep that same energy. He said, oh, you don't want to worship me? Oh, you want to go after the other gods? Fine. Go ahead. Go after them. Let those other gods save you. I'm gonna let you be the victim of all of these other people that you want to cling to, and let you cry out to their gods that you wanted to worship. See how that serves you. I'm gonna teach you a hard lesson. That's what he did. For according to the number of thy cities were thy gods, O Judah, and according to the number of the streets of Jerusalem have ye set up altars to that shameful thing, even altars to burn incense unto Baal. Therefore pray not thou for this people, neither lift up a cry or prayer for them, for I will not hear them in the time that they cry unto me for their trouble. He's mad. He's telling Jeremiah, don't even pray to me for these people. I'm not going to hear them. I'm not going to hear you. I don't even want to hear it. You better not even. Don't you dare pray to me on behalf of these people. Mad. Look how mad he was at the children, the people that he loved the most. And then look what he did to the people that he loved the most. How then, Christian, do you believe you're going to get out without having to pay a price? You believe you will not be here to see the tribulation. You believe you're going to get raptured away. You guys believe that being killed, dying, is the rapture. I know this because I see this when I follow, when you Christians, when your Christian leaders are dying and being killed off. Oh yeah, I see the videos. I read the comment sections and it's full of people saying, oh, well done, good and faithful servant. You are with the power now. You've been raptured away. Well, see, their faith fails them. Their faith fails them. On one hand, they believe they're going to be saved out of trouble and get raptured. And then on the other hand, in order to justify their belief, because they have a crisis of faith, when they see their leaders who should still be alive and should be around and get raptured out of here, just taken out of here, when they die, they have to justify, they have to find some sort of way. Otherwise, their entire faith system, it crumbles. So instead of waking up and saying, whoa, wait a minute, maybe there's something wrong here. Maybe I was in error for following this person. This person, I thought, was supposed to be raptured. What happened? What happened to the rapture? How did they die like this? A plane crash? Wow. What, these health issues? Wow. Suicide? Wow. Depression? Wow. But what happened to rapture? See, instead of, so maybe the rapture wasn't real. Maybe I'm in error. Instead of doing this, the delusion is so heavy because only the Most High can make you this stupid. They find a way to justify the bullshit. So it turns into, oh, good job, good and faithful servant. You've been taken away from this place by Jesus, and he has you now in the comfort in the bosom of Jesus, and and he didn't want you to be here in this cool, cruel world anymore. Okay, well then what does that say about you then? If his mercy was killing your false prophet, what does it mean for you to still be here? See, you can't have it both ways, but that's what you do. It's fucking dumb. It makes no sense. But to these people, it makes perfect sense. And that's just madness. Proof of the amazing power of Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai. Look how fucking stupid he can make you when he doesn't care about you. Wow. Verse 15. What hath my beloved to do in mine house, seeing she had wrought lewdness with many, and the holy flesh is passed from thee? When thou doest evil, then thou rejoicest. He called Israel his beloved. Seeing she has wrought lewdness with many, compared her to a harlot, spiritual harlotry, going after false gods, idolatry. That's committing adultery against the Most High, who we're betrothed to. And the holy flesh is passed from thee, the holy flesh, because only Israel have the holy flesh. Verse 16. Yahweh called thy name a green olive tree, fair, beautiful, and of goodly fruit. With the noise of a great tumult, he hath kindled fire upon it, and the branches of it are broken. He's destroying his people. He loved us. He loved them, but he spared them not. He's not going to spare you, Christian. He didn't spare his beloved Israel. He's not going to spare you. You think you guys can go into and do all the same wickedness that his beloved children did and get away, and he didn't let them get away with doing the evil? No, that's craziness. For Yahweh, Lord of hosts, that planted thee, not everybody, that planted thee, Israel, hath pronounced evil against thee. For the evil of the house, the sea line of Israel, and the house, the sea line of Judah, which they have done against themselves to provoke me to anger and offering incense to Baal. We did it to ourselves. What do you think he's going to do to you people calling on Jesus? Worshiping the idol, wearing that cross around your fucking neck. That's idol worship. Verse 18, and Yahweh hath given me knowledge of it, and I know it. Then thou showedest me their doings. But I was like a lamb or an ox that is brought to the slaughter, and I knew not that they had devised devices against me, saying, let us destroy the tree with the fruit thereof, and let us cut him off from the land of the living, that his name may be no more remembered. But the Yahweh, the Lord of hosts, that judges righteously, that triest the reins of the heart, let me see thy vengeance on them, for unto thee have I revealed my cause. Listen, Jeremiah the prophet was able to call on the Most High, the power and ask him, allow me to see your vengeance on all of these people who persecute me. And these are people of Israel. And he's able to ask the Most High to bring vengeance on these people for what they've done to him, his prophet. We are the children of the Most High. He loves us. He has turned his face back to us. He's listening to our prayers once again. And we are praying every day to see his vengeance on you, Christian, to see his vengeance on all the nations which persecute us. All of you. We want all of you to suffer as a nation. We pray every day for your demise and your destruction as a nation. And it's righteous to do so. Oh, and he's listening. Just look around. Don't you see the world? Don't you see what's happening? That's because of the righteous cries of the righteous seed who have come back to their power. Ever since our 400-year captivity and curse has been over in 2019. That's when the beginning of your woes started, Christian. That has been the beginning of your woes. Moving on, Jeremiah chapter 12, starting verse 1. Righteous art thou, O Yahweh, when I plead with thee. Yet let me talk with thee of thy judgments. Wherefore doth the way of the wicked prosper? Why does the way of the wicked prosper? He wants to know, because he's watching, and it seems like the wicked just seem to be able to get away with murder. They seem to be able to just get away with shit. It seems like they're just winning, like they're being wicked and they're just winning. This is what he saw. Don't we see this now? It seemed like these so-called white folks, you heathens, you Gentiles, it seemed like you guys were winning. To us, the Israelites, it's like, wow, like it pays to be wicked. You guys have been allowed to be wicked, do all manner of evil in the world to all peoples, but especially against the Israelites. And you guys just kept being blessed, it seemed like. We couldn't understand. That's the reason why, so many of our people started following the wicked ways of you wicked people, because it seemed like wickedness prospered. It seemed like evil really did pay. It seemed like crime really does pay, because there's no judgment or righteousness under a wicked kingdom's rulership. And so Jeremiah, he wanted to know, why do the way of the wicked prosper? Wherefore are all they happy that deal very treacherously? Why are all they happy that deal very treacherously? What's going on? He didn't understand. Thou hast planted them, yea, they have taken root. They grow, yea, they bring forth fruit. Thou art near in their mouth and far from their reins. But thou, O Yahweh, knowest me. Thou hast seen in me. I'm sorry, it's a lot. Thou hast seen me and tried mine heart toward thee. Pull them out like sheep for the slaughter and prepare them for the day of the slaughter. He's talking about his own people right now. How long shall the land mourn and the herbs of every field wither for the wickedness of them that dwell therein? The beasts are consumed and the birds, because they said, he shall not see our last end. If thou hast run with the footmen and they have wearied thee, then how canst thou contend with horses? And if in the land of peace, wherein thou trustest, they weary thee, then how wilt thou do in the swelling of Jordan? For even thy brethren and the house of thy father, even they have dealt treacherously with thee. Yea, they have called a multitude after thee. Believe them not, though they speak fair words unto thee. And Most High responds, because he responds to his people. I'm telling you, I talk to him every day. He responds to me every day. I no longer have to hope for a response. I pray and expect one. I no longer wait a long time for a response. I get it quickly, very quickly. You should be afraid, you heathens. If you understood what I was praying for, you would be deathly afraid. And I'm not alone. Shout out to the elect of Israel out there, to my Rod of Iron family out there, man. We're praying the same thing against you people every day, combining the power of our prayers together. And we are praying against you people every single day. And you see the results of our prayers every single day. We are toppling this world. All the rulers thereof are fallen. All of the kingdoms, all of the nations are fallen. They're all coming to ruin. It's like a seesaw. They all have to come down in order for us to rise. There can only be one. Both can't exist at the same time. We can't both be up. Our rise is directly linked to your fall. This is the reason for everything falling apart around you. We are in the season of the rise of the true children of the Most High, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Let the true church give a hearty Barakatah Yahweh Ba'ashem HaMashiach Yahweh Shai. All praises due indeed, y'all. I have forsaken mine house. I have left mine heritage, his people. I left them. I'm no longer dwelling with them. I'm no longer inside them. I'm taking all of their power away. I'm leaving them. I'm going to allow them to be spoiled and robbed by these other nations. This is how these other nations were able to take down the mighty people. He had forsaken his house. He left his heritage. We, his heritage. I have left mine heritage. Heritage, property that is or may be inherited, inheritance. A special or individual possession. A special or individual possession, an allotted portion. Israel, his so-called Negro, his allotted portion. His allotted portion. I have given the dearly beloved of my soul into the hand of her enemies. Listen, I have given the dearly beloved of my soul, the dearly beloved of my soul, into the hand of her enemies. What do you think is going to happen to you, Christian? If he did this to the dearly beloved of his soul, what do you think he's going to do to you? And who's the enemy of you? See, he's going to do to us he's going to do to you what he did to us. He's going to give you into the hand of your enemies. Who are your enemies, Christians? Who are your enemies? Gentiles, by blood, heathens? Us. Us, yes. Those who you robbed and spoiled. Yes, be very, very fucking afraid. Mine heritage is unto me as a lion in the forest. It crieth out against me. Therefore have I hated it. Mine heritage is unto me as a speckled bird. The birds round about are against her. Are not all the other nations around about us against us? Don't all the other nations hate us? All of them. Come ye, assemble all the beasts of the field. Come to devour. All the beasts of the field are all the other nations. You refer to as the beasts of the field, telling them, go ahead. Come on and devour my people. I'm going to let you guys loose on them. I'm going to let you loose. I'm going to let you devour them. I'm going to teach them a lesson. Come on. Come on. I know you guys all want an opportunity to devour the chosen people. Come on. Come get them. And you guys did with pleasure. You guys came and devoured us century after century worth of devouring. But it was only for a time. That time has concluded. Next, he turns the tables. This is what he does. He always destroys his instrument of correction. Every time he uses a nation and people to come against his people to correct us, when he's done with those people, he destroys and brings down those people. So you better know what's coming. Many pastors have destroyed my vineyard. Yeah, listen, you Christian pastors out there, you Christians, take this back to your pastors. Tell them what the Most High said that they have done to his people, his vineyard. That's his chosen. That's the Israel. Many pastors have destroyed my vineyard. They have trodden my portion underfoot. They have made my pleasant portion a desolate wilderness. They have made it desolate. And being desolate, it mourneth unto me. That's what we do. We mourn unto the Most High. We've been mourning unto him for a long time. The whole land is made desolate because no man layeth it to heart. The spoilers are come upon all high places through the wilderness. For the sword of Yahweh shall devour from the one end of the land, even to the other end of the land. No flesh shall have peace. See, these other nations, they were created to be the sword of the Lord. Their only purpose was to be a vessel of wrath, to be used as the belt. When his children messed up, he needed a way to spank us, to punish us, to get us back in line. That was the purpose of you other nations. Now, the time for you guys being utilized as the belt, the time of our punishment is over. He doesn't need the belt anymore. Now is the season for you to lose all your blessings, for him to take away everything that he allowed you to have. Everything that he gave to you, it's time for you to lose it. It's time to hand everything over to his children. We're off punishment now. We're off punishment. We can have all our stuff back now. And he's in the process of turning everything back over to us. The power, the earth, and everything therein, including you people. The spoilers are come upon all high places. He allowed the spoilers to come and utterly destroy us. No flesh shall have peace. None of us were able to have peace until the curses were over. They have sown wheat, but shall reap thorns. They have put themselves to pain, but shall not profit. And they shall be ashamed of your revenues because of the fierce anger of Yahweh. Thus saith Yahweh against all mine evil neighbors that touch the inheritance which I have caused my people, Israel, to inherit. Behold, I will pluck them out of their land and pluck out the house of Judah from among them. Listen again. Thus saith Yahweh against all mine evil neighbors that touch the inheritance which I have caused my people Israel to inherit. Listen, he's saying, I'm going to look how he works. He told us what he's going to do to us. He's going to bring other nations upon us. And then he tells you what he's going to do to the nations that he brought upon us. You people, he's telling you what's going to happen to you, the people that he allowed to come and ruin us. Look what he says he's going to do to you. You are the evil neighbors. You are his evil neighbors that touch the inheritance, which he's caused his people, Israel, to inherit. You've taken our stuff. Behold, I will pluck them out of their land and pluck out the house of Judah from among them. And it shall come to pass, after that I have plucked them out, I will return. And what? And have compassion on them. What he said? Did he say he's going to leave them, throw them away, and gather a spiritual Israel? No. After that I have plucked them out, I will return. How does he return? He comes back and dwells within his people again. He's doing that. And when he dwells in us, we are given power. He's the creator, right? Right. When he dwells inside of his people, what happens? What does that mean? That means we get power. We get the power to speak things into existence the way he did, the way he created everything by speaking it and it came into being. When he dwells in us, he's in us. So he speaks through us. His voice comes forth. He creates through us. He creates the change in the world, in the earth that he wants to take place. He wants to bring this place to ruin. So when he speaks in us and through us and calls us to pray, he is creating the change in this earth. Don't you see it? Don't you see it? He's fulfilling his promise to return and have compassion on us. He's having compassion on us now. And I will bring them again, every man to his heritage and every man to his land. This is an end time promise. It has begun. This is not for you Christians. It is not for the heathens. It's not for every group of people out there that call on Jesus. It is only for the bloodline of Israel. Not those who practice Judaism by in custom and tradition. No. The bloodline. The bloodline. And he's going to show you who the bloodline is. He's going to reveal it. It's going to be made manifest. He's going to show you who the liars are. As a matter of fact, you know, am I the only one that remember that over there in Israel on Passover, they came out and had the unveiling of their so-called Messiah, touting the return of their Messiah? It was a big deal over there in that land, a big deal. Then all of a sudden, no more talk of it, just disappeared. All of a sudden, as soon as they start getting bopped on and they start going to war and they start going through all of this stuff, everybody just magically forgot. Just magically forgot that ever happened. They want you to forget about it because then you would know that is pure fuckery. Why is all of that happening over there after their Messiah returned? Why isn't he doing anything about it? See, because then everybody will start screaming, false prophet. Everybody will look at them and start screaming about them being the fake people, them not being the people. It will be manifest. They will see it. See, that's what you're supposed to see. You're supposed to notice. The Most High has done all of this to show you. He's like, okay, they just unveiled they're a false prophet. Now let me create a situation where he's going to be proven to be fake, to have no power. Because if he had any power, he would be able to stop everything that I'm about to do. Why is all this happening as soon as he shows up and he doesn't lift a finger to do anything for his people? Seems fraudulent. Verse 16, and it shall come to pass, meaning it will, this is my promise, if they will diligently learn the ways of my people to swear by my name, the Lord Yahweh liveth, as they taught my people to swear by all, then shall they be built in the midst of my people. So this is for those of you, this is why it's important for you to get this. The reason why I'm talking to you is because there's supposed to be a group of you Christians who are supposed to come out, turn from your ways, admit that we are the people, cling to us, and receive some degree of salvation, some degree of mercy. It's what's supposed to happen. He's supposed to diligently learn the ways of his people. We are his people. You have to diligently learn our ways. You have to learn his name. You have to swear by his name. You have to come and be taught by us, as we were once taught by you. Then you shall be built in the midst of my people, in the midst. But if they will not obey, this is you, but if you will not obey, I will utterly pluck up and destroy that nation. Utterly pluck up and destroy every nation that will not obey my people. You guys get that? Utterly pick up and destroy. Utterly pluck up and destroy that nation. Don't be that nation. See, he didn't say that person. He said that nation. Why did he say that nation? Because he punishes as a nation. You're going to get it. You will pay for the sins of your nation. You're going to pay. Because whether you know it or not, you have had other lifetimes in which you never had to pay the penalty for all your wrongdoing. He saved your penalty for the end. See, he chastises people throughout every generation. He saved the punishment of you other nations till the end. That's how it worked. That's what he did. See, that's why Jeremiah couldn't understand back here. Wherefore doth the way of the wicked prosper? Wherefore are all they happy that deal very treacherously? Because the other nations weren't being punished. The wicked weren't being punished. They were allowed to just continue to do wickedly. Why? Because the Most High, the Father, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, he wanted to allow these people to continue to build up their sins. He wanted them to be fucking up so bad, because if he chastised them, if he judged them, then they would know of his presence. They would know that he really exists and that he's there, and that they better get on their P's and Q's, in which case that they wouldn't continue to fuck up as badly as they would otherwise. He needed them to fuck up badly. Remember, he wants to utterly destroy these people righteously. He wants to righteously destroy these people. So he had to allow them, their sins, to build up and pile up sky high, so that they deserve that 1,000 years worth of getting beat on, getting everything we have to offer them. He's going to give us 1,000 years worth of get back before the kingdom comes. 1,000 years worth of payback, righteous payback is what's in store. Righteous payback. He's a God of war. He believes in vengeance. How many times have you heard him talking about vengeance Revenge, vengeance, vengeance, vengeance on his enemies. He's going to allow his children to reign and have 1,000 years worth of ass kicking. Oh boy, better get ready. Like I told you in a previous video, the best thing that you guys can do to get ready is to start kissing asses, one, of the true Israelites, and two, you better go get yourself a fucking gym membership. Start eating right, all right? Get yourself strong. Make yourselves capable of all the work that's to come. Oh yeah, because you're going to work. You're going to work. If you understood the terrors my brothers are meditating on for you people, you guys would be thoroughly fucking terrified. Boy, I'm telling you, you better go get in that gym. You better go get in that gym. You better start researching everything, you know what I'm saying, that every professional out there has to offer you. Go get all your supplements, all of that shit. Get yourself together. Get ready. Oh, because it's coming. You can't avoid it. You can't avoid it. So you might as well just get yourself prepared. All right. That'll conclude this lesson, this installment of Christianity versus the Bible. Once again, it's not even a fair fight. The Bible is fucking you up, Christians. It's fucking you heathens right on up. You can do nothing. Won't you fight back? Christian, come on, Christianity, fight back. Stop standing there getting your ass whooped. I will not be insulted this way. I will not stand for this. I will not allow you to speak to me that way. I will not take this any longer. Look, Israel out there laughing. They know that I am not saying not for no damn reason. You guys are not going to escape this judgment we have ready for you. See you guys on the next one. Giving all praise, honor, and glory to the Holy One of Israel, our power, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. All praises due. Grace, peace, blessings, and hearty salutations to the elect of Israel. I love you guys, family. Get ready for rulership. We're almost out of here. Shalom.